Sacred moments. Sacred moments with you. Sacred moments. Yeah. Enter in sacred moments. I'm here in this space on this day with you. I'm here in this sacred space witnessing the morning dew. Sacred moments. In voice and in victory, we will share our thoughtful view, conversing and even challenging things we thought we knew. Sacred moments. With expectancy and excitement is this time set aside. Won't you enter in with us? And come on, let's take this ride. Riding the waves of wonder and whimsy. We're not here to do silly or flimsy. We're sacred moments. We are here open to listen and engage and converse. You know I'm going to keep the triune God in sight and first. I'm here with you on this holy mountain of meaning, sharing vows and syllables, discussing powerful gleanings. It's sacred moments. With songs and sonnets and poems and prose, this is not just another one of those radio shows. It's sacred moments. It's sacred moments with me as your host, here to clear and create and commune with you from coast to coast. It's sacred moments. Enter.
Good morning.
Good morning. I was trying to think of a good morning song to sing, but it escapes me. It's probably one of like those children's songs or something, but nevertheless.
You gotta sing every show, so.
Every show, I got to have at least a quarter of a tune in there. So good morning, Alter Ego. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I had a little like weird dream last night. I was in a relationship and it went sour. Even in my dreams. Oh my God. Like, what's going on? Oh God. So that kind of threw me off. But anyway, on this show, I probably tell too much of my business. Somebody is probably saying TMI, TMI. But I'm really honest though,
Yeah, people need that and want that. With so much fake going on social media, people need the real and genuine people. So
yeah, and we're trying to do that right here, definitely.
yeah.
I love that you posted your mission statement for the radio show and business, and I just want to give you a shout out, Khadija Alter Ego, for being a super duper producer, mom, a mogul, community activist, all of those good things. So I'm really happy to be here and to share this space with you. So thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome. Thanks for agreeing to do the show. It's needed.
Yeah, I like the variety of what you offer on your station and the different voices. I was thinking about that. There's so many people that have to have what they would say like a big platform in order to do something, and I'm like, let's just do it. Because every voice is important. Yeah. And there's somebody that wants to hear all of the various voices that are in the earth. That's what diversity is about. So yeah. So people are coming on, and I want to say good morning to our national and international audience. Whoop whoop! We are so happy you are here with us on this Sunday morning, yet another Sunday morning. We are here in the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection on most days. Some days I'm a little concerned, but that's where we're at. And my name is Reverend B. Michelle Horton, and I've already, I believe, introduced our super duper producer, Khadija Phillips Alter Ego, also serving as co-host, technical advisor, and all the other things going on at the same time. So we've had a week, haven't we?
Yep.
In the world. We have
Mm-hmm.
had a week in the world. We want to lift up prayers and our thoughts and well wishes to all of the people that have been affected by the weather, by the war,
Mm-hmm.
people who are still in poverty, and the pains of physical and emotional and mental disease. We want you to know that although we're only here once a week, we're thinking about you, and we're trying to bring some light and some hope and some engaging conversation into this space for the time that we've had
Mm-hmm.
allotted. So we want you to know that we're praying for you during the week. And also, I wanted to bring attention to something that I been hearing a little bit of, Khadija, this week, and it was about voter suppression. While all of these things are going on in the world, they're still in many places in these United States of America, where voter suppression is being talked about in back rooms and laws and being put in place. So I just want people to know, if you think that your vote doesn't matter, just think about how much people are trying to keep us from voting. So really kind of keep that at the forefront. And secondly, and these are my opinions that I hold fast to. Last week I did my testimony about COVID and the vaccine, and I just want us to really kind of consider that, continue to consider the importance of voting and vaccines. I'll put it like that. Um, Voting is so important that we have three conservative Supreme Court justices that will now rule for life, as they all do. And so whoever we put in office has the ability to assign them. And that's one of the reasons why we're in the place where we're at right now. So good news is that we're still holding on. We're
Yep.
still pressing forward. We still are thriving. We're still opening businesses, and all of those things are still happening. People are still together relationally. So we don't just look at the bad news. We celebrate the good news.
Yep.
And I have an announcement.
Okay.
Let me. It's a drum roll, y'all. Did y'all like that? Drum roll. Da-na, da-na. It is Sacred Space second anniversary. It's my anniversary. I gotta sing it.
I was
It's my
waiting for it.
anniversary. Sacred Space Ministry, September the 1st, 2019 was birthed, and we are still continuing. We're doing virtual services. And the second great announcement is we will be back on the air on Facebook this Friday at 6:30 p.m. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm gonna have my own party.
I'm at the party. I just fade in the background. I'm here. I'm partying.
Second anniversary, and we're happy to be back. We were on a 5 week sabbatical, where I was stepping back, and our ministry partners stepped up and offered prayers every Friday at 6:30. And I'm glad to be coming back on with a word of hope and healing this Friday at 6:30 p.m. and until the Lord says something differently. So come on back, come on back, and come on back. Look forward to during the week for some posts and prompts and poems and different things as we prepare to greet you all back on Friday at 6:30 p.m. Facebook Live. Sacred Space Ministry is back. So Good morning, everyone. Do we got any shout outs today you want to?
No, I'm just happy to be here. This is the end of our first season. This is our 10th show. So I'm excited for that. We have to plan, a season 1 celebration. So I'm excited for that.
Yes, yes. So, all of you that have been on the show before, keep your ears out and might be giving you a call. So, yeah, we've had great shows in the past, and I'm grateful for everybody that came on, and I'm grateful that today we have another wonderful, wonderful guest that will be entering in the room very shortly with us. I'm so sorry, I'm looking at my screen. Um, we've had some wonderful guests, and we have a wonderful guest today. Her name, as I call her, is Queen Valerie. I'm going to say Mandiza Stancill. That is her full name, and she's going to come in the room today. We are talking about wellness, and I could not have picked a better person to come on in the room and talk to us about wellness. So, audience near and far, national and international, let's greet our guest for this morning, as I call her Queen Valerie.
Good
So, come on in
morning.
the room. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that amazing introduction. I am so excited to be here. So thank
Wow.
you. Thank you.
We're excited to have you. Really, really are. Of course, you know we follow each other on Facebook. I follow you. I try to follow people that are enlightened, as I would say, that offer hope and healing, because like Khadija said, it's a lot of stuff going on in the world. So hey, how about let's have some things that are honest, right? And you're one of the people that I've met before outside of Facebook that always remain the same, and I like that about you. So we're going to dive in right after. I don't know if Khadija's asking her, as I call it, her quirky question that she asks guests every week. We have a quirky question, and we'll go right into our conversation.
So I have a different question this week.
Oh.
Okay, so the question is, would you rather have a personal chef or a maid, and why?
A personal chef, because I'm kind of funny about how my things are. So she would probably clean and I would go behind her and redo it. So I have her. A personal chef would be great because I don't like to cook.
Okay.
So I would opt for the personal chef.
That's funny. Most people that like to cook don't really like to do the cleaner part of it, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I would take one or the other right now at this point.
Yeah, I need both, so I'm not even going. I would
Yeah.
like to have both.
Yeah. Why not? Right.
Yeah.
Well, audience, let me share a little bit of our guest bio, because that'll lead us into our conversation for today. Um, in her bio, she starts off by saying, "What I have been through will help you get through." I love the fact that people who have gone through various things in life don't just hold that or sit with that, but they take that and they use that to help others. And that's what she's saying here. It's her mantra that she lives by. She says after living through her own trials and setbacks, she knew her experiences were not only for her. She moves full steam ahead daily to fulfill her passion to educate, empower, inspire, and equip women to regain control of their life. Y'all hear that? And wellness. Wellness is our theme for today, so that they can live abundantly, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Now, after completing her studies in health arts at University of St. Francis, she continued to hone her craft by becoming a certified holistic wellness coach. Oh, I can't wait to talk about that. licensed massage therapy. Oh, I'm on my way over. Certified, and am I saying that's right? Yoni Steam
Yoni,
practitioner.
Yoni Steam.
Am I saying that right?
Yoni Steam.
Yoni. Okay, I said Yanni. I do know what it is though. Certified Reiki Master, and I can't say this ethnic.
Oh, etheric touch.
You have to tell me about that. I'm not sure what that is. So it's no surprise that Valerie is the founder of Purposeful Wellness, a holistic wellness center where she serves as an energy healer, and Reiki Master provides safe space. I love this for women to reconnect with their body and reignite their vibrancy. Whole bunch of things that she does for self-care coaching, wellness. I like that she's coined this phrase, your wellness is my purpose. Oh my goodness. So good. So she also is doing our show, but she has her own radio show. I've been on her show. She's invited me on. She's also a domestic violence advocate, something I want to talk a little bit about. A contributing writer for Stay Focused magazine. And like I said, she's the host of her own Purposeful Wellness show, Beauties for Your Ashes. And she's a conference speaker. She just does so many things, like many of us do. But I like the fact that she uses all that her life experience gave her to help others. So I am like so happy to have you here. I want to ask you this question. How would then you describe or say wellness is from your perspective of being a professional wellness coach?
For me, wellness is mind, body, and spirit. It's not one or the other. It's a collective of all three. Because if your mind's not right, your spirit's not right, your body's not right. Because all of those things are connected and all of those things are affected. So you have to have all of those things in line. So, my self-care coaching, my energy healing, and the etheric touch, all of those components I use to help women to heal, to tell their story and heal by them sharing their story and using holistic health and wellness techniques. So I like to say that you need all three of those for wellness. Holistically, because I'm looking at it holistically. I just want to make an emphasis on I'm looking holistically, not Western, but more Eastern and Chinese medicine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How did you get started just on this journey to, you want to help women, heal and get on this wellness journey? And how did all those things fall into place from being the Reiki teacher or, a healer and all the different things that you do now?
Well, I worked in healthcare for 30 years. I worked in trauma, OR, and ER. And seeing all the different things that Western medicine did. And then my husband was diagnosed with a rare lung disease. And so that made me want to look into things more because I seen he wasn't getting any better. They had given him 2.5 to 3 years to live. So I aggressively started researching, the disease and things that I could do to offset that. And that's how I came upon, the holistic healing, alternative medicine, Chinese medicine, Eastern medicine, however you want to coin it. That gave me the ammunition to help him to fight this disease. And behind, the end result of all of that, my husband lived for 14 years, by changing his eating, doing the holistic health and supplements. But more importantly was the prayer, prayer 24/7, scriptures all throughout the house, affirmations every day, all day. So when my husband passed, I promised that I would continue to fight, because we fought for 14 years. And, my fight is spelled PHIGHT because it is a remembrance of pulmonary hypertension. So we put the PH before instead of the F. So that will always, remind me of who I'm fighting for and why I'm fighting. So, in turn, I wanted to take all I learned, in my experience in healthcare, and then what I learned in holistic healthcare, and how I felt that I was neglected with some things as I took that journey. I didn't have a lot of people helping me. And I wanted to turn that around. And I wanted to help everyone else, get through all of their situations. My life has been tumultuous from childhood to adulthood. And I didn't realize that until my husband passed and I started doing some self-evaluation. Like, why was I always unhappy? Thinking that the depression and low self-esteem and all of those things happened at that time of his diagnosis. When I looked into myself, those things happened in childhood. So fast forward to now, what I've been through will help you get through. I've been through a lot, so why not help someone else? God told me that is my purpose. We always, go through life like, what is my purpose? Do I have a purpose? How can I find my purpose? God will give you your purpose. He turned all of my pain into purpose. And now whenever anything happens, I ask God, what lesson am I supposed to learn from this? And what am I supposed to disseminate to your women? So I try and take everything at value that he has given it to me for purpose.
I appreciate two things that you said as I have been maneuvering through my own life and the different things that have happened and experientially. And I like the fact that you really honed in on looking at what was going on with you. Although all of these things were happening, like you said, outside, but unless we take that introspective journey, right? Asking ourselves, why do we do what we do, say what we say, don't do what we do, don't, all of these things matter. And I think that I'm in a season also of, like, check yourself. Because as we have purpose, our purpose can be hindered sometimes by what's going on in our own self more than what's happening outside of ourselves. How do you feel about what I'm saying there? Does that resonate? Or
Yes, it is absolutely true. I could never understand why I was always so jealous, envious, bleed on everybody, hate everything. And I had no reason. I had no understanding as to why I felt that way. Not until I took a class, with etheric touch, which is more like ancestral medicine. So it taught me about self-care, and it taught me about, we say shadow work, because what you do on the outside is a facade. That's how everyone sees you, all happy-go-lucky. But when you come in the house, those shadows are what face you. Those shadows are what you have to identify with. Those shadows you have to work on. So I feel that is what started me doing this, and it's a constant work. It's something that you have to do, and until you do it, you're just fooling yourself. You will continue to be unhappy, have a low self-esteem, and be so unprepared for life. I decided that that's what I have to do, and I have to do that daily, and we all have to do that daily, and we have to go inside and see what's inside. Sometimes you have that little girl still inside.
Ooh.
She hasn't grown up. You have to you have to set her free.
Wow.
Every time you are triggered by, and whatever emotionally triggers you to the point that it angers you or causes you to act out differently, then go back and see what happened at that time. Maybe that's when you were 12 years old and that happened. So at 66 years old, if I hadn't been healed when that happens, I'm going to go right back to that little girl who was 12 years old.
You better speak, Queen.
And you have to be able to reveal it to heal it. You know, these people, oh, I'm going to, keep it here in the house. Don't talk about it outside. Talk about it. Talk about it. Because when you don't talk about it, so many other things happen. Your health, your stress, depression. Who wants to walk around like that? I don't, and I did for years and years and years. So I had a lot of work to do. And, when you're in a situation and you're constantly talking to God, like, how come, why, what if? And now I can look back at all of that, and I am so thankful for being in that pain that took me to my purpose, that took me to where I am today.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I've gotten to this point too, where, what has happened is no longer an embarrassment.
Mm-mm.
It is the catalyst to freedom.
Yes.
For not just myself, but for those that, actually see it for real. Like, I'm looking at you, and you've shared with me, some of your story as you're doing with our audience. And that old phrase, you don't look like what you've been through. No, but because it's a freedom though.
Yes.
It's a work. It didn't just happen. You're saying that this work that we need to do is mind, is body, and is spirit. It's not one or the other.
Yeah.
It is this triune, like God is triune, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. You have, this triune body, soul, mind, body, and soul. And when they are all working together in unity, then this is as healing comes forward. Healing come forward. I love that. Missy just wrote and repeated after you, reveal it to heal it. What do you say to somebody that, keeps running into the same issues? And I'm gonna put it out there, keep running into the same issues, but always looking outside of the other people or circumstances and saying that, this is happening because of what somebody is saying, what somebody is doing, and not taking that time to stop and say, well, maybe it's me that has to be strengthened by this lesson, or there's something to learn. What would you say?
What I would say is it's a person who is in denial of their issues. And when you do those things, you are fully aware that you're acting like that. Like when I would bleed over everyone and be miserable, sometimes I would say to myself, why are you so hateful? Why are you so jealous? Because you don't want to face the inevitable. I'm doing a podcast, so I'm doing some recordings. I interviewed someone, and I told her one of the things she needs to do is forgive the person. I'm not doing that. I mean, mad. I'm not doing that. And you know what? You can continue to be like that, and you will continue to stay in the slump that you're in. You really, really have to look at yourself and hear yourself and see yourself, and then want to change. You have to want to make that change. You have, one of the things I like to I have an acronym for is I am ready. I am ready to identify my issues. I am ready to admit that I need help. And I'm ready to hit reset and move forward. So I am ready. Are you ready? Are you truly ready? And I want to get back to when you first started. You talked about being authentic and telling too much of your story. Authenticity always wins.
Woo-hoo.
Authenticity wins because that's what people need to see. They need to see your transparency and your authenticity. They don't need to see me, walking around here acting like I'm all that, like my pastor used to say, like a pineapple soda and a bag of chips. They need to see me. They need to see me happy, sad, whatever. I'm authentic. I'm transparent. That will always win.
Yeah. And if you are not authentic, if you can't, let me just say this. If you cannot be authentic with anybody else, let's start off with being authentic with yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Let's start up with looking in the mirror and saying, girl, you messed up today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, girl, you got it right today.
Exactly.
To also not have to, and this is me speaking in this space here, have someone else affirm you. That you be your own affirmation.
Yes.
But then you be your own critic as well, because both of those things, that's a balance, right? If we're so, look what I did, look what I said, look who I am, and we never see, look what I didn't do, look what let's have that balance, because the only perfect person that I know is Jesus.
Exactly.
And God did not call us, and this is my quote, call us to be perfect. God called us to be perfected. And I can only be perfected when I'm authentically honest with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can't get honest with myself, how about getting our queens around, our friends around, and saying, hey, tell me how you see me.
Mm-hmm.
We've had on this show, I had the girlfriends day, right, with two of my golden girls, and we were, we talked to each other a lot. We've known each other over 40 years, and we've been real with each other about stuff. No, Michelle, I can't see why you did that. Like, if you can't have friends to check you,
right, right, that's
authentically,
a true friend, right? That's a true friend.
You said a lot, and this like a lot that I kind of want to unpack in between like the different things that you said. So the first thing is like when you were talking about your husband and how you start looking into different treatments for him. Like how did you bridge that gap between Western medicine and spirituality with the Reiki and the Yoni steams and all that kind of stuff, and incorporate that into still being having a religion? Because a lot of times you hear meditation and those kind of things are in opposition to Christianity. Like you can't have both. And so I just love the fact that you said, hey, I had the scriptures up, I prayed, but then I'm also on this journey, and it sounds like a spiritual journey as well, not just for healing, but just a spiritual journey. So how did you kind of like reconcile that, or did you ever hear that? Because I hear it all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
I've been called a witch. I've been called all kinds of things. When my husband was ill, I wasn't practicing, spirituality, and I hadn't learned ancestral medicine at that time. I learned that after the fact, and I learned that for my journey of healing, for my journey of, self-care and healing myself internally. But when my husband was ill, my Christianity is what, held me and affirmed me and guided me, just as it does today. I am spiritual, but God is Lord. God is my Savior. I will never negate God. I will never move away from that. It's just that I have some other things that I've added to my walk. And those things that I've added to my walk are what has healed me and what I use to heal other women, who want to do that. Because I too am told, because I do Reiki, because I do energy healing, that I'm going against Christianity. But you go to church and people lay hands on you, same as I do. But my name's not pastor or evangelist or prophetess, whatever. But the energy comes from God. I'm just a facilitator. You know, he allows me, he has given me gifts that I knew that I had when I was a Christian, but because I was a Christian, I wouldn't acknowledge them, I guess is the best way. You know, and when I was in school, I talked about that. And they were saying that my gifts were so strong that they would just have to squeak out, you know, and be made. So then once I embraced it, I am totally fine with it. And I haven't done anything different in my Christian walk. I've just added some things to it. So that's where I am with that.
And then my other question was, you were saying, talk about it, share your story, don't hold it in. I know that's kind of like, I feel like it's a generational thing too. I know some of the older generation, they don't really like to talk about things. Like, you would never know that your mom went through something unless you're going through something. And then now she's like trying to help you through it. So she'll reveal that, hey, you know, I did that too. And I feel like, I know for me, sharing my story, I want to, but you know, your story involves other people as well. So you don't necessarily want to start telling, even though it's your story, you don't want to necessarily hurt or offend other people.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to people who, I'm saying this because I had a client, we talked about this yesterday. You know, she has a book that she wants to write, but it's the same thing. It's like, hey, I want to tell my story, but some people may, you know, feel some type of way. What advice do you have to those people that want to share, but they're also worried about what else could come from that?
That's so coincidental. I just finished a book and I had to, you know, now that I've discovered all this stuff in my family, I had to say something. And my publisher said the same thing that you just said. It's my story. And I think that you have to be authentic enough and transparent enough to tell your story and not care what other people are thinking. You know, and I know that other people will be hurt, but you're hurting as well. And you know, like you said, people, like, what goes on in this house stays in this house. You know, let's just, you know, keep everything silent, don't talk about it. But you as the victim, you know, for lack of a better term, you're holding this all in to protect everyone else. You know, so I feel as though you have to tell your story, but you could tell your story in a way that you're not naming the person. Like, I didn't name the person. I said what was done to me, and it was done by someone in my family. So you know, there's tons of people that you can think who I'm talking about. But, you know, I feel good that I was able to put it out there. And I think, you know, and then another thing you can do is, you know, talk to the person.
That's what I was going to say.
Talk to the person, you know, and let them know, you know, how they made you feel, what they did to you. And I'm going to write this in my book. You know, and don't use names. I wouldn't use names in a book.
When I wrote the other side of Through, which, you know, now that, you know, it's been out for years, you know, of course everyone knows, you know, it was about me and the breakup of my husband, and, you know, and I never used his particular name, but, you know, if you knew me personally, you knew we were talking about. But it before I wrote that, before I sent that book away to the publisher, I sent the manuscript to him.
Right.
And I asked him to read it. And I did not write the book until I was in a safe space where I would not be saying anything to the detriment of him, like to get him back. It was like an honest book. So I agree with what Queen Valerie is saying. You know, if the person is alive, you know, my first book that I wrote, I never published it because it was my story and my mother's story that I have yet to tell. Few people know, but I wanted to honor her life by not bringing that forward. And I may never publish it, but it's my first book that I've ever written. I still have the manuscript. But so it depends on what the author is. What's the purpose of writing it?
Right.
Is it cathartic? Is it to tell the story to help somebody else? Is it to heal yourself?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of different variables to that. But if the person or the other people are alive and you feel like you can have a conversation with them and say, this is what I am doing. And whether you agree with it or not, I'm just giving you a heads up.
Just say, you know,
Right.
it's happening.
It's happening.
It is. And it's just, and, you know, the person is now gone, you know, but it took, you know, I never told anyone what happened. And I was writing my book about domestic violence,
Mm-hmm.
and that just popped into my mind. You know, I was like, you know, I never told anyone. I never talked about that. And I have to tell the story because it's part of my life and it's part of someone else's life. You know, the things that we write about ourselves also mirror someone else. So as we're writing, as using this as a healing tool, this is a healing for someone else as well. So you have to do what you have to do.
And can you just talk about like what exactly is Reiki? I had my first session. A friend of mine did it probably like a month ago, and it was cool. So just talk about that and like energy healing. Like what is that?
Yeah.
So Reiki is really just a transference of energy. You know, I use my hands, and because I'm a massage therapist, I can touch you. You know, really legally, people that aren't massage therapists, like say if, you know, Reverend was a massage therapist, I mean, a Reiki master, she couldn't touch, but she could hover over. So I can touch. So I touch. So I'm transferring my energy. I'm going to different parts of your body where I feel led. You know, there's like a formality of like going like these steps. But because I've learned, you know, energy healing and spirituality, I allow the spirit to guide me. And then when you're doing it, sometimes clients don't feel anything. And that's the drawback to some people that aren't ready for it. Like, well, I had it, nothing happened. I didn't feel anything, but something did happen. So anyway, it's a transference of energy. I go through different body parts. Sometimes you might feel a tingling. You might feel some heat. I've had people cry. I've had people pray in tongue. I have had all types of issues. And one of the gifts that I have is that I can see things and I can hear things. And, you know, I will tell my client at the end, you know, this is something I've seen. This is something I heard. This is what I felt here. This is what I felt there. And, you know, sometimes they're like, oh, you know, that's not true. And then they're like, oh my God, that's spot on. You know, that's exactly what's going on. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
And then they come back later and say, remember you told me, you know, you felt something on my hand. I told you I didn't feel anything. Well, later in the week, you know, I hurt my hand and my hand hurt right where you said. So it's just actually just energy transference and me using what God has given me to transfer it into you. It's nothing hocus pocus, nothing black magic. He is the creator. He is energy. So that's what I'm doing.
I would like to, I know we're really at the end of our show. I would like I want to thank you for being here, because one of the things for me is that I think that we don't have to be on two different ends of the spectrum, where, as Khadija said earlier, like, you know, you're either this or you're that, and we're so opposed to each other. And find out, you know, the things that work, and if they can be joined together in some way, mind, body, spirit, Eastern, Western, you know, what, let us just be healed.
Yes.
With that, let us be queen, let us be well. That's what you're saying. You're interested in the wellness. And it does not always particularly look one way or the other. It can be a combination of things. And so if we're open to that, I think that would be helpful as well for us to even think about it.
Yeah, and I think that's very true because, when Western medicine hones in on, okay, you have pancreatic cancer, so we're going to do that. We're going to work on that. What about my mind? What about my spirit? How I'm feeling? All of those things, they collectively work together. Reiki can help you. Meditation can help you.
Yeah.
Deep breathing can help you.
Yes.
Along with all of those other things that Western medicine. So it's a collaboration.
Thank you.
Like, oh, you know what? Let me tell you something. My husband needed the Western medicine and he needed my Eastern medicine because they had the medication that he needed. I had the spirituality part that he needed.
Yeah.
And the Christianity that he needed. And I think, back to what she was saying, I think that I was operating in that because that was a gift, but I didn't know I had it. Here, go in and put your hands on his ankle because one time he hurt his ankle. And I'm like, dude, what? I'm like, all right, and I'm going to just go put my hands on his ankle. And then like 2 days later, he came and he said, my ankle feels so much better. I was like, oh, okay, good. I didn't know, but God knows, so you have to collaborate. And it's just all things working together for good.
Listen, this conversation, I know Dee has got, I can see her mind like so there could be so many more questions. We can go in so many different ways because you come with a wealth of experience, of knowledge, of care for the mind, body, and soul. And I've really enjoyed this conversation and listening to you. We didn't even talk about the domestic violence, but listen, we want our audience to know to connect or even book a session with Valerie at Purpose and go to Valerie at purposeforwellness.com. You can find her on Facebook. If you go back to my page, you'll see the listing links of how you can go on. But listen, we may want to have you come back again and just go deeper into the conversation of that kind of healing that I agree with as well. But we were so just happy to have you here. Audience, please reach out to her. She has her own podcast, 2 shows, I think, books available. Just wonderful, wonderful person. Queen Valerie, I'm so thankful that you were here with us today. Audience, I know that you enjoyed it. If so, just say great job in the chat. Follow up with us. And I hope that you will join us as we return on Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Sacred Space Ministry, our 2nd anniversary. So come on and celebrate with us this Friday. We hope that you have just an absolutely wonderful, wonderful week. Know that we are praying with you and for you, and we are trusting God for a great, great week. Hold on, somebody. Mind, body, and spirit. We're all in this together. So have a wonderful day. We love you. Thank you, Queen Valerie. Great job. And I hope you guys check her out. Please do. Please. We want to support all of our people that come on. We want to make sure that we are connecting with them and that we are supporting them in their business and lifting them up in prayer. Be well, be blessed. I got to sing every show. Have a great week. Have a great week. And thank you to our super duper producer, Khadija Phillips, alter ego. We thank you for all the comments that are coming in, and we look forward to seeing you next week on our show. Be well, be blessed. Stay healthy.
Yes.
All right. Peace and blessings.